going live. Hey, good Wednesday evening. We are live. We're going to talk about the women's game that they lost at Iowa State tonight. But first, we kind of want to gloat a little bit. I shouldn't say gloat, but kind of laugh about the whole Michigan thing and how screwed up everything is. And so, we got some news and we want to share the news that we've got. And so, Kelvin, start us out, and I'll fill in anything I think you left out.
Okay. The first thing I'm going to hit on was what I found out about Coach Campbell leaving Iowa State, which early in the year, middle of the year, or whatever, we know that he got a new contract. And when he did that, he got his buyout whittled way down to $2 million. And I said at the time, that makes him more likely to leave. He wasn't happy with the budget at Iowa State. They have budget problems in the sports. They have good NIL for the men's basketball program with Mr. Albaugh and Stein and Bloom, giving them money. But I just thought that's not, I don't think that's real kosher, getting his buyout from 20 million down to 2 million, whatever it was. And then a couple weeks ago, I seen he switched his agent, and I thought, well, what is going on? And I guess Penn State contacted his old agent, and his old agent somehow forgot to tell him. And
no kidding.
And Campbell is from out there. His grandfather ran a coal mine in Pennsylvania. Big Joe Paterno, Penn State nuts on that side of his family, and then he grew up in Ohio. So he's kind of going back home. And I knew that nowadays, if you're a real good coach, and Campbell's a real good coach, where you want to go to is the Big Ten or SEC. That's where the money is. That's where the athletic departments don't have to worry about money. And as I've said on the podcast several times, that I thought, watch for Campbell to leave, and I'd almost given up on Penn State, but after his last game of the season, what do you know? Here's Penn State, and some people said I was crazy, but turned out that happened. So then go ahead.
Before, as far as Campbell goes, I just want to ask a couple things. First of all, he wasn't their first choice. I think he was like fourth or fifth.
We don't really know.
Yeah, we don't really know for sure. Yeah. And the second thing is I saw a video today where he was talking to the Penn State media, and I don't know if it's AI or not, but he was trashing his athletic director at Iowa State.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Are you sure? You sure that was
AI? That was AI. Yeah.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. But
all right. God, that one looked real. That one, I can usually spot an AI, but that one looked real.
Usually if they say something really stupid, it's AI.
Yeah.
Yeah,
anyway, it had him trashing the AD, saying he had to do all the legwork on getting the recruits and stuff and to the thing, and it's like, well, isn't that what a coach supposed to do? Aren't you supposed to do all the legwork? Are you expecting your AD to go out and do it for you?
It'd be cool if you got your Penn State expert on again.
See what he
Yeah.
thinks.
Oh yeah, he knows all that inside stuff, and we could tell him about Campbell. You know,
Yeah, you know what? It's a good idea. Let me work on that.
I try to have good ideas.
Yeah,
You know,
we'll do it. We'll do it after the bowl game.
I want to help build your podcast, Dean. I really do.
What I would
I
like
don't.
to do, though, is I would like to wait until I know everybody's watching this, is hearing this now for the first time. I'd like to wait until after the portal closes, and we know what Penn State did in their bowl game, and we know who they went after in the portal and stuff, and so then we can kind of talk about it with him. But yeah,
whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
The other
you want to move on to Sharon?
Yeah, because we want to get on to the women's basketball. That's why we're having a podcast tonight. But the big news today was, boy, as we talked about before we went on, Dean, has Michigan have they went into the pot or what? Remember when we were well, we weren't kids, but when we were in our 30s, Bo Schembechler was at Michigan. You never had to worry about them cheating. They never did anything bad. They were all on the up and up. They were respected. Lloyd Carr come along, and he was a very respected guy, and very good friends with Kirk and Norm Parker and everything. And they just went to pot when they hired Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's like he forgot about being coached by Bo Schembechler. Then he has Connor Stallions, which is the big deal I have with him, and his funny recruiting practices. But and then today, here's this coach that now has been detained by the police. We know that. It's in the Detroit Free Press. Supposedly got a woman's staffer pregnant and all that stuff. We'll mention it, but we don't know exactly. And then today they said he got in a fight with his wife, and then he ended up it said the staffer's place. I presumed it was the woman's staffer. It's 31 years old and pregnant, and he had a knife on her and threatening her and to kill himself. So the police in Michigan like to cover up things. They won't report everything yet. Yeah. But it's just like that athletic director at Michigan, Ward Manuel, he needs his job taken away from him. Because at every turn he's tried to cover up Stallions, cover up everything, and argue with the NCAA that their coaches shouldn't have to sit out and all this stuff. And it just bothers me that a very high academic institution like Michigan, I mean, academically, they're way above Iowa, that there's no reason for them to do these things. They'd have a winning team if they had a dumb coach. They don't need to do these things, do they, Dean? I mean,
they do not. They do not. But
anyway, it's just. I was so shocked tonight when it just said that he was fired for cause. And I thought,
then the story has come up. Let me read a couple things that were sent to me today. Sources have provided me. This is to Rob Reinhardt, the real Rob Reinhardt. Okay. Sources have provided me with graphic details leading up to the arrest of former Michigan coach Sharon Moore. During an argument with his wife, Moore threatened to unalive himself. He then drove to and broke into the home of his assistant, where he held a knife to his own throat and threatened to unalive both himself and the staffer. He was then intercepted at a local church after the wife provided his phone location to the authorities. He's now in protective custody. Just a tragic chain of events. Now, I got some other things too. This is what bothers me. is in Michigan, you it's a felony punishable if you commit adultery in Michigan. Did you know that?
Ah, it's probably a law there, but it's probably never enforced. I mean, there's a bunch of dumb laws in every state.
Yeah.
I don't think adultery you go to prison or anything.
Yeah. Okay, and so here's somebody, also Rob Reinhart, the real Rob Reinhart, I'm gonna say, also said the charges that he's going to be charged with: 3 counts of sexual misconduct or conduct, first degree, 3 counts of sodomy, 1 count of assault, 1 count of illegal seduction.
If he went over to somebody's place with that knife, he could be charged with kidnapping and assault, threatening assault, and possible murder or something like that too. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, here's the
I
thing.
didn't hear that. So
This was also sent to me, and reportedly, this all started because a DoorDasher reported to the school that they delivered Plan B to the coach's office on campus, which I think, if you guys know right now, that's an abortion pill.
I seen that a reporter posted that lady staffer, he automatically almost doubled her salary this year, probably trying to pay her off or something. But
Somebody said 80% pay hike. Was that you?
it
that
wasn't
said
quite
that?
that. It went from 58,000 to 90,000, which wouldn't
That
that would
should send
only
a
be
red
like,
flag right
well,
there.
yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
it's like
You would think that the state board of education would have to, or whatever they call them, people would have to approve that raise, and they would have to say, "Really, why are we giving her that much money? It's almost double."
yeah, I
Okay,
don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
but anyway,
He
it's
says he is here.
just a
He just
weird.
said he's
There he
committed
is.
a serious crime, and it's going to get nasty for him. It is. Okay, now
Mhm.
let's leave it there, and let's talk about the game that we lost tonight, 74-69. Um, I got stats and stuff if we need them. My personal opinion is what we talked about on the show last night when I said that I was told that the referees do not call fouls on Crooks. She stands in the paint too long. I noticed that she doesn't really stand in the paint too long. She stands to the side. She
Yeah,
stands right outside the paint. So
I didn't.
that wasn't an issue, but she was. But I
Mhm.
saw her grab, I saw her pull, I saw her push, I saw her trip, and
Mhm.
she'd be bumping into people, and our girls would get called for the foul, but yet she initiated the contact. Is it just because our girls got pushed out of the way and left their feet, so we get the foul because they weren't strong enough to keep from getting pushed off their feet? Because that's what happened a couple times. Is she bump them out, and they would lose, their footing on the ground, and they have to step back or something. And yeah,
But
I just think I
I
think
thought
it's
the
unfair refereeing. But I saw that only one other time with one other team. Caitlin Clark's senior year at Iowa, she got all the calls going her way too, except for a couple of times. A couple of hard ass referees decided that they weren't going to put up with her shit.
yeah, I agree. I thought the officiating was very one-sided. Every time Iowa fed the post to Ava Hayden or Hannah Stolke, whatever defender was behind them would just literally push them in the back and make them bend over.
Mm-hmm.
But, if Crooks got the ball, she could travel. She could lower her shoulder and bump them twice to shoot. And she never got any fouls still. Oh, they finally called a couple fouls on her there in the third, fourth quarter. But I was very, very, very proud. It's like one time Hannah near the end of the game, she goes driving with her left hand, and Audie Crooks, I joked on the internet, I said, I hope Hannah isn't hospitalized by Audie Crooks's clean blocked because she was just hammered, and then they called the ball out of bounds on Hannah. And then the end of the game, we got a chance. It's a 3-point game. Chit Chat drives to the hoop, puts up a shot. She's fouled. They don't call it. And then McCabe gets the ball at the top of the key, puts up a shot. And I thought, was she fouled? And then they show the replay where the Iowa State girl hits her with her body and then goes right across her arm with her arm. And it was no foul. Of course, them announcers, they're like, oh, I don't know, it looked like all ball to me,
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but I was very proud of the girls, to come back the way they did.
Yeah. If you look at the third quarter, that's what actually did them in this game. They were outscored 26-13 in the third quarter. We owned the fourth quarter, and we owned the first quarter. But after that, it was almost even, 16-12 in the second quarter. And so,
I know we were down by 17. It wasn't quite the fourth quarter yet, and by golly, we cut her down to either 2 or 3.
We got as close as 3. I don't think we ever got it within 2. We might have.
When we were down by 7, when we were down by 17, them Iowa State players was gloating and all this crap. And boy, Kylie Feuerbach hit a 3 and Chit Chat hit a couple threes, and all of a sudden they weren't gloating.
Yeah, They went almost 5 minutes in the fourth quarter without scoring, but all of a sudden they caught fire. I noticed, though, that we actually did better in the game with Audie Crooks on the floor than we did when she wasn't on the floor. Would that be your opinion, too? Or
I didn't
kind of paid attention to
it. Seemed like she wasn't. Didn't seem to me like she was off the floor very much. Yeah. She'd go out for like 1 or 2 minutes, and Fenley told her, you check out when you're tired and you check in when you want to. And she'd come sit for 1 minute or something, and she'd be right back in there.
Well, for a girl who averages 24 minutes a game, she played 36, so
she only sat 4 minutes. She
wanted this game bad, yeah. She wanted this game bad.
And it was finally a game that wasn't a blowout. She didn't. Them other games, she didn't need to play all them.
Yeah,
all them times. She's a great player, but they don't have to favor her like that.
No, they don't.
No,
they don't. But Addie Brown hurt us with 20 points, 5 assists, and 12 rebounds. Crooks had 10 rebounds, 30 points against us. Nobody else. I mean, Jada Williams too had 11 and 12 assists and 5 rebounds. Wow, she's a
real good. She had a great game.
Yeah, he wasn't. But you know what? Those are the 3 that did the damage. Everybody else got a total of 8 points.
I said in our last podcast, Iowa needed to hit their threes, and we did. We shot almost 40% from threes. We shot threes better than they did on the game. We couldn't shoot a free throw. They didn't hit their free throws very good, but we only hit like 50%.
Exactly 50%. But that's not good. 50% is not good on free throws.
Well, I know that. It ought to be 75 for a team or something. And then from the field, we only shot like 43%. We shot about as good from 3-point land as we did from the 2-point land. But I thought Stolke really played the best defense of anybody, and Stolke got like 15 rebounds, and she just played her rear end off. And I thought McCabe played good. I thought Feuerbach played good, and Chit Chat played great. And Journey Houston played good, but the other players that played just didn't show up. Ava Hayden and Layla Hayes and Addie Deal and Stremlow. I think I didn't play. She played. Chit Chat was probably so hot they didn't play Stremlow very much, but she didn't play very good when the little bit she played. But
Stremlow played 9 minutes, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 2 points. So I'll just run down real quick. Stokey, despite fouling out, played 37 minutes, so she managed to hang in there for a long time with foul trouble. 15 rebounds, 3 assists, 10 points. There's her double-double. Hayden, 15 minutes, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 points. Yeah, it took her a long. I think she got all her 8 points in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken, because she didn't play much.
Yeah, she got hot there when we made our run, but
Yeah.
uh, but
Chit Chat, 37 minutes, 1 rebound, 3 assists, and 11. No, wait, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong stat. 3 rebounds and 21 points. God, she was hot tonight. God, you'd have never known that she sat out for 6.5 games, would you? Actually, probably equivalent of 7 games when you consider that she only played half the Baylor game and only half of the game last week.
you know, the Iowa fans already love her, so
We know. Oh yeah, I was falling in love with her too. Okay. Taylor McCabe, 35 minutes, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 11 points. I believe she had a 2-pointer in there today, didn't she? Didn't she run in and a run out?
She had one or two.
Okay.
She had a nice Hannah or somebody gave her a nice assist for a layup.
Yeah, that was it.
And she shot I know she shot 37.5% from 3, so she hit her threes a good percentage.
Yeah. Feuerbach, 10 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 33 minutes. Okay. Then things drastically tail off. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, that's the starters who probably played the bulk of the minutes. And this is kind of where I kind of like.
I bet Houston played 15, 16 minutes, didn't she?
She played 17 minutes. She had 5 rebounds and 4 points. Lila Hayes, 11 minutes, 1 rebound, 3 points. Deal played 6 minutes, no stats. Strimlo played 9 minutes, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 2 points. That's it. That was our scoring for the night. Of course, Mulaney didn't get in, but she was available to play. So, I just feel like I don't know. I just don't know about this team yet. Where we're at with it, because
I took it as a very optimistic game. The way we come back with all them young players playing, you know. Journey Houston is not going to play 16 minutes normally, but when you got 2 of your post players on the bench in foul trouble, she had to play.
Yeah.
You know, she's just not tall enough, really, but she does great. I think it's a positive, you know, that they will carry this game forward. That they came back, and the ref, they ought to look at the tape and say, well, the ref screwed us. You know, we're going to be determined to compete with anybody. You know, that's the way I see it.
Okay, so December, I don't even have my calendar in front of me. December 13th, they play Linwood. Then they travel on December to New York on December 20th to play UConn. And then they start Big Ten season with Penn State on the 28th of this month. Linwood shouldn't be any trouble, although I would expect to get our second loss against UConn unless UConn has everybody hurt and AZ Fudd ain't playing and blah, blah, blah.
They have plenty of players on the bench, but
yeah, they do.
You never know. We might.
Michigan
gave them a game. We might give them a game.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, on the 28th, we start Big Ten play again with Penn State. That should be a win, although nothing's for granted. Nebraska comes to town on the 1st of January. Hey, something to watch on New Year's Day. Northwestern on the 5th, and at Indiana on the 11th of January. Oregon comes to visit following that. Then Michigan State. Michigan State got upset by who? I can't remember.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin upset them.
Well, and then Wisconsin has really surprised. Of course, they got a Lisa Bluter coach up there, Miss Becker. So
Yeah, that's what Jan said in her thing on. I was listening. She was talking about it. I didn't hear about the Maryland Minnesota game. Minnesota was leading
oh,
it.
I watched that.
Did Maryland come back and win?
Yeah, Minnesota was ahead by 7 with literally 22 seconds to go. And they threw the ball away like 4 straight times for a layup. And they even had the ball with 8 seconds to go, and all they had to do is dribble out the clock. They were ahead by 1, and they dribbled it off their leg or something. And anyway, but Minnesota looks good. Obviously, because Maryland's a real good team. They got beat like 102 to 101 or something like that in overtime.
Judging by what I've seen out of our women so far, especially the way they hung in there with Iowa State, who's a 4.5-point favorite, and they lost by 5. So, okay, so I guess the odd makers know what they're talking about. Okay, so just looking at the schedule, going through it. I got them 6-0. Then they run into Michigan State, Maryland, and Ohio State and USC 4 consecutive. That could be 4 consecutive losses.
I don't think Ohio State's that good, but
well, you know what? This year USC is beatable. UCLA though, we got UCLA and USC back to back in Los Angeles. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. We could go 4 losses in a 5-game stretch.
I just don't know. You know.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah,
I think
I don't know either. I don't know either, but I think we show that we can hang with some of the more other teams like Penn State, Nebraska, Northwestern. Indiana's not playing that well this year. Oregon's not really there, but then we play Michigan State, Maryland, Ohio State, USC, and UCLA. Think for the next 4 or 5 games. So those are going to be tough to win.
I think we can. We're not going to beat UConn. You know,
no,
I don't think.
No, we're not.
And I would think we'd be I wouldn't say we can't upset UCLA because I think, it's possible.
I don't think any Iowa City though.
Yeah, I don't think any of the Big Ten teams. Now Washington's got a really good team. I've been following them, and Illinois has been very impressive here lately. But I think we can beat any of them. But you aren't going to beat all of them.
I feel like we can beat USC again because without Juju, they're not as strong, and they're showing a little bit of weakness this year. They're not even in the top 25 anymore, I don't think.
If I had to just pull out, about every year, I always say, Kirk's going to win 8 or 9 games, I would just, if I had to pull out, somebody had said, well, what's our record going to be in the Big Ten? I'd say, well, I think we're probably going to lose 6 games or something like that in the Big Ten, maybe 7. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But Nebraska's really good. Minnesota, Wisconsin's way better. You just don't know, but.
Got a question for you that we can add. It's a little off topic, but somebody's asking me, who's our college football player of the year? I'm going to say that doesn't necessarily have to be our Heisman winner.
Everybody's got
a lot of good people going to get awards this year.
Yeah, everybody's got Mendoza and Pavia as the 2 front runners for the Heisman.
Yeah,
the best football player. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure the wide receiver at Ohio State is pretty much universally known as the best actual football player in college football. But he's a wide receiver, and he has to share all them catches with the other Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith, but
okay, so real quick, where was I going to go with this question? Did you sent me a thing today, AP All-American, that Weegan only made 2nd team?
As bull crap.
That's biggest bull crap. That probably means he won't win the award.
That's why I think Vandy ain't he don't know we're on tonight probably, but that's why I think that Pavia might actually win the Heisman,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the same reason Bo Jackson beat Chuck Long. The whole South, they vote for their guy.
Mm-hmm.
They got their favorite in the Southeast Conference, and everybody in the Southern voting block, Southeast voting block, is going to vote for Pavia. Up here in the Big Ten, we're going to have some people vote for Dante Moore. We're going to have some people vote for Sayin. We're going to have some people vote for Mendoza.
Yeah.
We're going to split the vote, and that's why Chuck Long lost, because people up in the Big Ten, some people voted Lorenzo White number one, or Jim Everett for Purdue.
So who was
So
first team All American in instead of Weegan?
some guy from Texas A&M.
Is his stats look even as closely as good as
No,
because
no.
according to what I've read, Region owns he's number one in all those categories.
Yeah, there's a guy, I think he was from Texas. He might have been from Texas A&M, that his punt returns were almost as good as Weegan's, but he was a yard short, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But anyway,
So
it's bull crap, and uh you know,
that probably
PFF,
means he won't win the award then.
yeah, PFF come out with their All Americans. Of course, they had Wet Jet all first team. They had Cade Pieper first team All American, and they had Logan Jones first team All American, and they had Dunker second team All American.
That's
So
kind of
I like,
interesting.
people can say what they want to about PFF, but they sure got our offensive line rated the way I see them,
Yeah.
and I like that they grade them out, and I know they ain't perfect, but a lot better than these damn sports writers. It's like the AP. I think it was the AP All Americans, or on three, maybe it was. They had Logan Jones like third team All American center, and PFF has him way up above every other center. And they had this Slaughter for Florida as the first team center. Well, sure, preseason everybody thought he was the best center, but he had a crappy first 3 or 4 games. He played crappy. And it's like these sports writers don't even pay attention to how they're playing. They just say, oh, at the start of the season, they go, Slaughter's the top center. So they just leave him there all year, you know? So anyway.
Well, I think is there anything else you want to say on the women's game tonight?
No. Something I wanted to mention that I thought was interesting. I
What's that?
listened to the coaches' bowl press conferences today,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that coach at Vandy. His name's Lee, I think. Anyway,
Chuck
he
Lee?
said,
I
what?
think it's Chuck Lee.
Okay. Anyway, he said, this is the way I look at the game. It ought to be a hell of a game. He says, we got about the best offense in the country. He says, we're playing the first or second best defense in the country. So that ought to be like a real clash. And then he goes, the Iowa offense is kind of middling, like 50th in the country. And he goes, that's where our defense is. So it might be a heck of a game, And the other thing I found out today was I didn't know Jerry Kill was at Vanderbilt. He would know the Iowa system very well. He's an analyst for
He's an
Vanderbilt.
analyst for him. Okay. All righty.
Yeah.
Just for the record, Vandy says the best center in America is Jordan White. Dude won SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week 5 times. And I stand corrected. It's not Chuck Lee, it's Clark Lee.
Okay. I like that Lee character. All I know is Logan Jones is by far the highest graded center for all 12 games in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been since the first game of the season. And he's the only, well, for the Outland Award, it's him, a defensive lineman for Ohio State, and the big offensive lineman at Utah, who is a great player. So I don't see any other center mentioned for the Outland Award. So
Yeah. Is Jordan White, is he at Vanderbilt, I presume?
I don't know. I started
Andy will
my
tell
day.
us.
I
All
started
we
my
know is
day.
he's on a team in the SEC, so that's all we know.
Yeah, I did my by the way, the out of the 4 All-American centers that they named today, 3 of them were from the Big Ten. The only one from the SEC was the guy at Florida named Slaughter, and that's just because he was preseason All-American.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But I started the, we're going to do a Vandy, a bowl show the 21st or sometime, you said. I started my deep dive on Vanderbilt, but I'm certainly not ready to talk about them. Vandy would know a lot more about Vanderbilt than I do.
Yes, on that show when we do our deep dive on the 21st, Vandy, if you're available, we want you on the show to talk all things Vanderbilt.
If you look at the 2 deep for Vanderbilt, it's like crazy. Their offensive first team and their offensive second team. What is that, like 22 players? If they list an extra wide receiver, it'd be 24 players. Out of them players, like 85% of them are transfers. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think it might have been every offensive lineman was a transfer.
If you got the money,
did they buy it? Did they buy a team? But I sure like their coach. I like him.
That's why I kind of joke now when you say things. I say things like we're going to see who we're going shopping for in January. Kelvin, look into the stories of Eli Stowers, Trey Richardson, and Richie Hoskins. Fantastic stories. Richie Havens is a D2 transfer that walked on at Vandy. So these are guys that we're going to have to keep.
I remember Vandy told me the other night about Eli Store. He was a top-rated quarterback. I think he said from A&M or something. He transferred to Vandy, but Pavia beat him out, so they moved him to tight end. And he is ranked in the NFL draft. I looked at the mock drafts today, the last few days, because I'm interested, in the Vanderbilt tight end's the number 2 tight end in the draft. The Oregon tight end is so much better than the Oregon tight end does everything. He is a pancake blocker, a great receiver, which we know. We've seen him play against us. Blocking, and he's a great receiver and everything. He's just more of a total tight end than the Vandy tight end is more of a hybrid guy. But yeah, you told Andy, I remember your story about Mr. Store. So
what I'm doing is I took pictures of the names he said. I will do research on every one of these guys and find out what their stories are so we can share them on our deep dive.
Yeah.
So people kind of know and get to know the players. They'll feel like they'll know these players up close.
Whenever I have an upcoming game, I did it for USC, Penn State, Oregon, all of them. You just go to Our Lads 2 Deep, and it's under ourlads.com. And they show the 2 deep and almost the 3 deep for the teams on offense and defense. And all you have to do is click on and it'll say right there, if there's a TR after their name, that means they were a transfer. It'll say senior transfer, grad transfer, or a sophomore, junior transfer. And then you click on their name and it'll tell you where they played before. And you can even click on an NFL draft prospect. It'll tell you what the NFL thinks of them.
Yeah. It says Stowers won the Walter Campbell Award as the academic Heisman. He's coming on. Okay, I want to ask you about this guy we offered today.
He beat out Aaron Graves for the Campbell Award.
Academic, yeah.
I didn't think that was named yet.
Okay. Well,
maybe he
maybe
won it.
last year.
Maybe he won it for the SEC or something so far.
Yeah, we'll find out. Okay.
Mhm.
Alrighty. I want to ask you what you know about this Corey Scott wide receiver out of some place in Florida, West Florida, and North
Yeah,
Florida, South Florida, something Florida.
he's from
Because
West
Iowa
Florida.
offered
Him and that quarterback are both teammates at West Florida. The quarterback Stokes, I think his name is. He's the one that got kicked off the Florida team. We talked about him the other night. But they're teammates, and the wide receiver is young. You know, he was a redshirt freshman this year, and he caught like, I don't know, 34 passes for like 700 yards. But you got to understand this West Florida, they're in the playoffs, but they're at some lower division, you
Yeah,
know.
I think it was
And I don't
Division
know
Two
how
or something.
this kid just put on X. He says, I was offered by Iowa today, which I already heard of Corey Scott. But then
Mhm.
T. Hank, he asked me, how could he be offered? Iowa couldn't offer him because the portal don't open until January. And I said, well, he's not a Division I athlete. You know, this West Florida, I don't know if it's Division II, Division III, JUCO. I don't know what it is, but NAIA, I don't know. But they have different rules. You can offer them guys, you
Yeah.
know. But
Hawkeye 2017 says it's now a cyclone state, and he has a frown on it. Yeah, because tomorrow night the men are probably gonna get beat too,
yeah.
and so they will have all this in football and basketball. I don't
All
know
I
how
know
we
is
did in women's soccer. I think
soccer's the only sport we won.
the only one we won.
They were
Okay.
talking about it on three, and then people said, well, Iowa State beat us in football this year, but I'd take our football team over Iowa State's right now. Iowa State's staying home, so.
Yeah. Says Crooks went off tonight as expected. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's because and oh yeah, they beat us in wrestling too. Um
Oh,
yeah.
soccer's the only sport we won.
Yep. So anyway, Vandy says yes. She got her 30 points. She did her thing.
Mhm.
We read her stats
Mhm.
earlier tonight. The
Mhm.
only we talked about it last night how we had to front her and not play behind her. And if we did that, she would catch the ball and score, which she did because we spent most of the night playing behind her. The one time that um,
Hannah's the
and I
only
got in
one that
front of
really
her,
fronts it.
she jumped up and grabbed the ball from her, and caught the
Hannah,
ball.
Hannah shut when the other girls got in foul trouble and they put Hannah over on her. That slowed her down.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hannah's a tremendous athlete,
and she's had
uh,
2 years experience playing against her too. She
and
knows what.
she's a tremendous athlete. You know,
Yeah,
she can front somebody, and then if the ball would get over, she's so quick she can spin
yeah.
around and still
I just
help.
think I just think getting back to that, I just think both Layla and Ava were intimidated by her because they didn't do the things that they usually do. Their spin moves to the hoop to get behind her. They
Mhm,
usually get in front of the girls, and get the ball, spin around and lay it
mhm.
in for a nice little lay in. Tonight they were trying to do different things. They weren't trying to do that on her. We may have gotten her to follow us a couple times had we tried that. I don't know. But I think we
They're,
played I think they both played intimidated by her. But I
they're
promise you next
well.
year when
Mhm.
she's a senior and they come to Iowa City and most of that team is juniors and sophomores, I'm going to tell you right now, Iowa State ain't winning that game.
Mhm. I think Iowa State has everybody coming back, but
They
but
do
the
because I told you they
but
were a solid freshman team 2 years ago. He played all freshmen.
yeah, and but right now I'm watching. They got the news on there showing the highlights, and as you're talking, it shows Audie Crooks getting the ball down on the block and turning and literally jumping into Layla Hayes, who's just standing there with her arms up, and of course it's a 3-point play. Count the bucket and foul on
Yeah.
Layla Hayes,
But
and
but
Layla
it's like
Hayes.
one of the announcers said tonight. I don't know which one said it. She said the heavier, bigger person will always get the call in their favor. You know,
Right?
it's
Because
her way of saying, "Hey,
probably
hey,
want to. I don't
we
want
see
to.
what you, yeah, we see what
I
you're
don't want to.
seeing."
I don't want to be mean, Dean, but it's kind of like saving the whales. Did I say?
Actually, I know I didn't say that. I just said,
No.
here's what I said is, Hannah Stolke handled her the 2 previous years. I thought she could handle her again, and she did. Actually,
Yeah.
our best runs were when our other 2 bigs were on the bench in foul trouble, and Hannah Stolke was out there trying to slow her down, and she did slow her down. But
Are
she
you
got a lot of
react?
her points against Ava and Layla.
Are you reacting to a comment that I can't read or something?
Oh yeah. Vandy
Yeah.
says you said Iowa State wasn't winning this game about 3 weeks ago. I don't know if I actually came out and said that. I may have implied it, but I don't think I actually said that because I know how good Iowa State is.
Yeah.
I just said that.
Iowa State,
I thought we could handle. I thought we could handle Crooks.
And Iowa State, if you follow them like last year, they're a way different team at home than they are on the road. They didn't.
Oh my gosh, how
Iowa
many people
State,
did they have in Hilton tonight?
it wasn't
15,000.
sold out. No, it was only 10,000 or something because you could buy tickets for $20.
Wow.
They were
And
posting it on.
Did you
They
see
were posting it on
Mr.
the
and
internet.
Mrs. Caitlin Clark's parents were there at the game. I thought at
Were
first
you?
Caitlin was there, but it was just her parents.
Oh, Caitlin won there. Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think Caitlin was there because when they showed it, they didn't show Caitlin; they just showed the parents.
Okay.
So,
I thought the
Caitlin,
announcers mentioned Caitlin, but
they did. They just mentioned her parents, Caitlin's parents.
Okay.
Yeah. What's up, Bella? Hey, Terry, how are you, buddy? How are you doing? Geez, they're all coming in now. Maybe we should just continue talking for a while. Repeat everything we said earlier.
I have to stay up till 11. I told you I got a turkey in the oven. So.
Yeah. Also, guys, those of you guys coming in late, we did at the beginning we talked about Sharon Moore and the thing at Michigan. So go back and listen to that. And we did talk a lot of Iowa State women's hoops tonight. We just kind of got sidetracked. Most of that in the first 30 minutes, and then the last 15, 20 minutes, we've been kind of off track.
And I mentioned the story of Matt Campbell going to Penn State.
Yeah. So, guys, if you get a chance to go back and listen to that, please go back and take a listen. We'd appreciate it. And share it out and leave some comments, too.
Yeah, I think I said 2 weeks ago, Matt Campbell ain't staying at Iowa State. He switched agents, and I was told that you're crazy. His wife would slap him and all that stuff. I knew that he wasn't going to wait. I knew he wasn't staying at a small. I knew he wasn't staying at a small budget school. Yeah. If you're a good coach, you don't, and he's a good coach.
Terry Walker says he will wait until all the details are out on that. Yeah, I can see that because Terry Walker says he'll wait on the details. I'm sure he's talking about Sharon Moore. I want to read another comment about that, about waiting.
A lot of fans of Michigan didn't think Moore was too great a coach anyway, but.
So, okay. Vandy said this earlier, so I want to give Vandy the credit on this one. He just wrote on here. He says, before making any judgment, remember that Mel Tucker was accused of this stuff, and he won a lawsuit against Michigan State for defamation of character. And so you can't win a defamation of character lawsuit unless it's not true. So the accusations of him, I guess, weren't true.
I knew Fitzgerald won one, but I didn't know Tucker did.
Yeah. Terry Walker asked, is he getting the Deshaun Watson treatment? What is that? Somebody explain that to me.
Deshaun Watson admitted that he had a problem with massage therapists. He'd order up a bunch of different massage therapists in Houston, and then he would harass them during their sessions.
Okay.
But
yeah, massage therapy. Terry just said that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up that Mel Tucker. I thought that lady won in court, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think this is a good place to leave it. Kind of just like we're just talking just to talk.
Yeah.
Guys, come back and watch the beginning of it. You guys will really enjoy what we had to say at the beginning and stuff. Alrighty. Hey, good news. I picked up 10 new subscribers this week alone. I was really
Holy
shocked
cow.
when I went in there.
We talked beforehand. I told you that our viewership, was comparing viewership, from earlier in the year, and here the last few weeks, our viewerships went up a lot. So
Yeah. Well, I think I'm finally getting some help from some of the guys at the other Facebook pages. Plus, I'm sharing it all over. I'm putting it on Instagram. You can find us on Instagram now. You can find it on Snapchat. You can find it on Twitter. You can find it on Blue Sky. You can find it on Threads. I put it just about everywhere I thought I could find a Hawkeye fan. All right, guys. Thank you for watching, listening, and stuff. And we appreciate you. And we should be back on Sunday night with something. We'll have some kind of a special show going on Sunday night.
Do our bowl picks, maybe.
Yeah. Is this the weekend that we're going to have the first round of? Is that next weekend?
The first bowl game is Saturday. We picked that last pod, Washington and Boise State. We picked the Army-Navy game and Washington and Boise State. Our last podcast.
Yep, we did. Okay. All righty. Let's get out of here, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yep.
All righty.
Hit that
Bye,
like
guys.
button.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.